Hi people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. Guys, hope that you're well. A little something that I've noticed from time to time, and it is simply this. Have you noticed that sometimes when you talk to someone who you don't really want to talk to, you kind of let them know, you know, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm busy, or I've got something else that I need to do, or whatever the case might be. That sometimes they don't get the message, and you can say this. I think about sending WhatsApp messages or text messages, or sometimes as you can be on the phone and you say, I'm busy. And I suppose this advice is more for younger people, but also for older folk. And my experience is this, that sometimes these other folk who don't necessarily get the message, they will try again. So young people particularly struggle with this particular thing. So I've been speaking to a friend's daughter the other day, and dead sweet, lovely young lady she is, and kind of gets involved emotionally to try and support other people. It's part of her nature to get out of what she's doing in order to step into the battlefield, so to speak, to try and help her friends out who might be doing their thing. And this particular young lady, she kind of neglects herself a little bit by not paying attention to who she is and where she's going in the world. And it is sad, really. I mean, in some ways I'm exactly the same. And it also just so happens that most of my friends are the same. We've got this innate belief that people and relationships are really important. Now, I hate telling people I can't talk to you or I'm busy. I don't like it, but sometimes I have to for sanity's sake. And the reason for this is simply this. When you're feeling a bit down, or you're busy, or you don't really want to talk to anybody, you want to kind of retract from life a little bit. When you start getting yourself involved in these conversations with these other folk who need to hear that you don't want to talk, or you don't want to communicate, or whatever the case might be, my observation in life is this. The minute you think about them more than you do yourself, and you then get involved in said conversation, it's very quickly that you lose track of time. You might think that you're going to spend only 5 minutes talking to these, and when you look again, it's like an hour. But it's not been a constructive hour, it's been a draining hour. Then you look at it again, you think, oh man, I've just wasted an hour of my time and I've achieved nothing other than get more frustrated, more upset, feeling drained. And sometimes you just need to understand that you are important. And saying no is a powerful thing. I've started to say no to a lot of people more recently. And what I found is I'm getting time for me. Time for my stuff, because I'm working through a lot of things. It's exciting, it's empowering when you start paying attention to you. Because you see, that person there will always be there. Their issues will always be there. And if you can't look after yourself, you can't help them. I'm learning that. So, what I want to talk about is, when you get involved in that conversation, very quickly, because of the emotional drain that that other person wants on you, might not start off like that, but it ends up that you feel drained. That the emotional laden language comes out, and before you know it, this half-hour, 2-3 hour conversation has evolved. And sometimes when you are feeling tired or not really interested in having this particular conversation, you might end up saying things that kind of you regret afterwards. Sometimes there might be promises made. There might be things that you've said that you could or would not do, whatever the case might be. It doesn't matter. But you might not be able to keep to what you've said. In those circumstances, the advice would be simply this: acknowledge the other individual, Once you acknowledge them, let them know, I'll come back to you in a bit, maybe in a day or maybe 3 or 4 days. Be honest with them and say, I'm not in the mood to talk right now, I'm tired, I've got things on my mind, whatever the case might be. And recharge your batteries first. And be silent, and there's the key. Silence is the key. You see, the thing is, I can say things, and my intention, my motive is to be helpful. But because of the mindset of the other person, they won't see it like that necessarily, and they will misunderstand and misrepresent what you are saying. They might not get the nuance that what you're on about. So they will then convey that message to someone else. Not necessarily gossiping, but they will talk to someone else. And they will misrepresent, they misunderstand, they will miscommunicate your original intentions. Not according to you, but according to them and their misguided information. However, silence can never be misrepresented. It can't be misinterpreted. It can't be misspoken. Now, when you just keep silent and you ghost people without telling them the reasons why you're silent, once again, it leads to an open door of misunderstanding and miscommunication yet again, where when you say, listen, I don't want to talk to you for a couple of days or so, that can't be misinterpreted. It can't be mispronounced. It can't be anything. Because you've told them why, and then you do exactly as you say. That buys you time to get your batteries recharged, get your mind right. If you're busy dealing with a project or whatever the case might be, it gives you time to plan it out a little bit better and then eventually make some time for a said friend. The wise thing is sometimes to keep quiet. No one knows why you're saying this, or why you're doing this. But my advice is, say, I'm not talking to you right now, so that you can't be misconstrued. So many relationships have broken down nowadays over the last few years, and the bulk of the issues is miscommunication, misunderstanding. The translation of stuff has gone completely silly. Because you see, in today's society, we don't talk. We are on our phones all the time. It's a skill that needs to be relearned, I think. But sometimes just be quiet, it's a good thing. I would like to hear your stories about when you were quiet. and the lessons that you've learned as a result of that quietness. Equally, the opposite also. Whenever you said things that you shouldn't have, whenever you've done things that you shouldn't have, and afterwards go, "Phew, I wish I didn't." That's it. I hope this video has caused you to think a little bit about things in terms of when to speak and when not to speak. And when you choose not to speak, tell the person you're not interested in speaking at this particular point in time, but maybe in the future. So what I'm saying is, invest in yourself. It's a good thing. After you've done all the YouTube admin, the share, subscribe, comments, the bell, pick all, it'll be great to see this channel grow. For now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks, and I'll speak to you soon.